There are a lot of misconceptions about the wilderness, especially by iron players. This is mainly due to players going about the grind in the wrong ways. I was able to grind out well over 1,000 total KC without ever dying once or even getting tagged by a PKer. I'm going to explain how you can too. It's actually pretty easy. Before I dive into how I would recommend tackling the wilderness bosses, it's extremely important to have an alt account for scouting. This only needs to be a level 3, in fact it's actually preferred that it's a level 3. For the first step into the wilderness, we're going to be getting a Viggora's Chain Mace. This is by far the best drop from Revenant, as it can be used for all 3 wilderness bosses quite effectively. If you happen to get a crossbow as well, that's nice for Callisto, but it's not required. Now for the Revenant setup, we're going to be Scold, safe spotting and absolute rags with our +1 being the Salve EI. Always protect from item in the wilderness, just in case you forget when you get PK'd. This helm slot is actually critical, and I'm not joking. The more you can convey how absolutely worthless you are, the less likely PKers are to even attack you. It doesn't always work, but most of the time, especially in the total worlds, no one's willing to skull on you or even spend the time to kill you. Of course, you should always be on task for the Revenants, otherwise it's just not worth your time. You should be Tureal skipping to get the Revenant task, and an optimal block list can be found in the description for this. I'm not going to be actually showing you how to kill the bosses themselves. That's not really the point of this video, and there's plenty of other guides on how to actually kill them. Now we're actually going to be focusing on the singles variants here. This is due to them being under level 30 wilderness, which means you can just teleport straight out. Venenatis and Vedion multivariants might actually be better for the Voidwaker in terms of time, but you'll have to deal with PKers, and personally I didn't enjoy that. This is where the alt account comes in. We're going to station it outside of the boss dungeon with the Wilderness Player Alarm plugin active. This plugin makes the screen flash the moment anyone shows up on screen, and this will give us plenty of warning to teleport out. You should always have time to assess whether it's a PK or a PVMer, so don't be too trigger happy with the teleport. If a PKer does show up, just teleport, and then immediately run back to the boss dungeon. They won't linger around, it's better for them to just hop and keep looking for other players to kill. After a while, I felt safe enough to do 40 to 80 kill trips. The alt account will also deter PVMers from even checking if the cave is empty, so normally you can hold a world for hours at a time, even if someone shows up while you're banking. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, and I also want to leave you with a reminder to never bring anything into the wilderness you are not willing to lose. You never know what dumb stuff you might accidentally do.